After Ronald DeFeo had confessed to shooting his entire family, attorney William Webber found himself faced with the difficult task of defending him. Webber began by investigating what went on in the DeFeo home.
The family life at the DeFeo residence was kind of bizarre and unusual, because on one hand, they appeared to be very religious artifacts throughout the house, statues throughout the exterior of the house. But inside, when Mr. DeFeo was there was constant fighting, bickering, yelling, screaming, activities that would go way beyond normal fighting that families may have.
There were beatings that often would occur for no particular reason, from what I understand. The father would just fall into these terrible rages, and Ronald often became the focus of those rages.
Ronnie's friends were afraid to come into the house because they were just afraid of the father. There was testimony about the father beating the wife in the presence of Ronnie's friends.
And that kind of abuse often leads to abuse of others that are weaker or more subordinate.
So when you look beyond the nice, quiet, suburban street, there were troubles in that family.
Many people told me about the abuse he received as a child from his father. On the other hand, I was also told about the great love he received from his mother and his close relationship with his brothers and one of the two sisters. So he was a very unusual and difficult personality.
We were really a close family, you know. It's a shame what happened, but it happened.
The other thing about Ronald DeFeo, of course, was he immediately started ranting and raving from prison that the devil made him do it.
Some priest was in the courtroom watching my performance on the witness stand. He felt that my performance, I had to be possessed by the devil.
You know, there were echoes of Charles Manson from the late 60s and the Sharon Tate murders in California. Ronald DeFeo had that same wild-eyed look as Charles Manson.
I don't think he was dealing with a full deck. Yeah, you gotta be insane to kill your own family, or well on your way.
I asked a friend and associate, Dr. Daniel Schwartz, to interview him. Dan gave a professional opinion that Ronnie was acting in another state of mind, that he didn't understand the nature of his act.
Webber decided on a plea of insanity. When he interviewed DeFeo about what he remembered happening on the night of the murders, a strange series of events was described that would prompt speculation about who was behind the killings.
Ronnie had taken some drugs. He was watching television, and there was a war picture on. And at the end of the picture, Ronnie was in the room alone. He said initially he thought that he heard members of his family in another room conspiring to kill him. The one thing that he said, and sometimes he said it with a smirk, so I wasn't sure if it was truthful, but he said that a female with black hands gave me the rifle, and I went ahead and shot everybody.
His original testimony was that at some point a hooded, black-handed demon handed him a weapon, and that he went upstairs, and that he committed the murder. He said the murder, not the murders.
During the trial, one expert argued that DeFeo may not have acted alone.
Herman Race was a criminologist hired by the defense. Herman Race, in a closed courtroom, that means they cleared out the public, told the judge and the prosecutor that some of the bodies had been moved, that they were not all killed in the positions they were found. He also said that he believed that multiple weapons were used, not just one high-powered rifle.
Intriguingly, many years later, journalist Rick Moran was contacted by a drug enforcement agent who told him that he had the DeFeo home under observation at the time of the killings and had seen Ronnie's sister, Dawn, leave the house.
On the night of the murder, that operative did see Dawn DeFeo wearing a snorkel-type jacket and gloves come out of the house with the rifle, throw the rifle into the backseat of her car, and drive out towards the point where the city has a dock, which is exactly where the weapon was found by police divers later on. When he told the police that a hooded, black-handed demon came to him and handed him the weapon, but that he didn't move, I believe that it's true. I don't think he was in any condition to move. But the demon that he was talking about was his own sister.
Dawn DeFeo's night clothes show unburnt powder, which indicates she may have fired a rifle that night.
Moran's theory is that Ronnie and his sister Dawn had plotted to kill their parents together.
I think on the night that they decided they were going to do that, Ron was in no condition to be able to do it. And that Dawn took a long rifle and committed the murder. Unfortunately, in the frenzy of it, she apparently decided she was going to take out everybody.
I've always been partial to the idea that indeed something special existed between Ronald DeFeo and his sister Dawn. Now, some say that that was incest, I don't know, but there was a special connection, a special bond, perhaps a bond of secrecy. She was the one that was killed the most violently. The head has just completely exploded.
The theory is that Dawn DeFeo killed the family and that Ronnie, in despair, murdered Dawn. So he's responsible for one murder, which would also explain the grandfather's reaction of, "You'll take all of the Ralphs," because he was the only one who was left, and he didn't want to see anything more about relationships within the household or his family name being sullied.
In fact, the jury found Ronald DeFeo to be guilty of all the murders and to be of sound mind. He was given 6 life sentences in February 1975.